The idea for this car is to make it as ordinary as possible. The first thing that comes to mind when someone says a car. Going to start by setting the model year to 1995, then we'll limit the body type to a sedan. Now look through the bodies to find a good one. This one is nice and basic. Steel for the panels, monocoque chassis and steel for that as well. Front transverse engine placement, McPherson strut for the front suspension and solid axle coil for the rear. Engine will be an inline 4. Cast iron block. Displacement I'll make exactly 1.4 liters. Overhead cam with 2 valves and cast iron for the head material. Crank conrods and pistons I'll cast and balance shaft for the balancing mass. These I will tune later, keeping it naturally aspirated. For the fuel system I will go with single point electronic fuel injection, a compact intake manifold, and fuel I will keep as regular unleaded. Compact cast headers to match the compact intake manifold, then two-way catalytic converter and one baffled muffler. Now we'll just tune the engine to be decently reliable and economical, upping the power a bit while keeping those things in mind. And there we go, tuning done, a mighty 61.5 horsepower. Now just going to do a quick test pull. With that, I'll just give this engine a very basic name. Front wheel drive for the drive type, obviously. 5-speed transmission and open differential. Rest I'm going to adjust later. For the tires, I'm going to go with radials and hard long life. Rim material I'm keeping as steel. Size I will adjust later. For the brakes, I'm going to go with solid disc, 1 piston on the front and drum on the rear. Sliders I'll adjust later. No under tray and I'll up the cooling airflow a bit. Adds reliability. Standard interior with standard cassette, manual rack and pinion for the steering, and no traction aids. Standard 90s safety, and I will optimize the weight to be a bit lighter. Now for the suspension, standard springs, twin tube dampers and passive sway bars, then just throw on the normal preset. Few warnings here to take care of. First going to tune the gearing to be better, reduce the top speed, make the first gear a bit lower, and increase the spread a bit, adjusting the tires a bit at this point, increasing the tire diameter and the rear offset. Next up the brakes. To get rid of the brake fade, I will increase the size some amount, add a bit of quality, adjust the brake force, and finally adding some airflow and at the same time increasing the cooling airflow. Final thing to tune is the suspension. I will just stiffen up the springs and dampers a bit. With that, the only remaining warning is about the steering, which I don't care about. Now I will get to work on throwing a basic design together. And here's the finished car. Wow, what styling I know. Definitely looks like a normal boring car. Did a basic interior as well. Final thing to do is to name it. I'll give it a very creative name. Automobile Sedan. I'll now export this to BMG Drive so I can test drive it. Here it is in BMG Drive. Now I have a very demanding list of tests for this car to pass. First on the list is turning on the engine and seeing how it runs. So let me start it up. Nice, it started. Let me give it a bit of throttle. Yep, sounds like an engine. Next on the list, does it move forwards? Good, it does. Then, does it move backwards? Good, does that as well. So, with those 3 tests done, I can move on to the more demanding 4th test, driving the car on a road. So, let's get moving here. Quick stop at the stop sign, look for non-existent traffic, and start driving. Quick first thoughts are that getting going is easy, engine has enough torque not to stall, accelerates at a smooth pace, the gear shifts are nice, and the steering feels good. Approaching a hill here, time to see how this car handles it. Going to go into the external camera so you can see the speed better. Trying to keep it at a steady 60 km per hour. Okay, losing a bit of speed. Come on, my foot is flat. and over the hill and get in some more speed again. Would have probably shifted down to keep the speed up better, but didn't lose speed too badly there, so going to say that is a pass for that part of the test. Found a nice twisty forest road here with some elevation changes. Time to see how it handles through here. Few bumps there before this corner, and getting a bit of tire squeal even. Okay, handling the corners well. I feel very much in control of the car, which is good. Though the car does slow down on the uphills quite a bit, but thankfully the downhills make up for that. Oh, getting a bit of lift of oversteer. Thankfully not too much, and it's easy to correct in a front-wheel drive car. Another longer uphill here. Come on, get over it. There we go, and a nice downhill after it. Yeah, this road is a fun drive, and the car is handling it well at the moderate speed I'm going while staying in the correct lane. And there is the end of this road. Going to stop at the stop sign here to test the brakes a bit. Yep, the brakes are good enough for this car, was able to stop on the line. So, going to say, that is the normal road test passed. Last test on the list, can it get up to highway speed? So, here on a slip road to a highway, and gonna start accelerating. Get up the rev range and shift up. Keeping it going. Third. Unleashing the mighty 61.5 horsepower. Fourth, and there's 100 km per hour. Now shift up to fifth and see how this thing cruises at this speed. Yep, easy to keep it at this speed and doesn't feel unstable when turning. So, gonna keep going until I see an exit. There it is, so turn there and start slowing down. Downshifting a couple of times and getting it slowed down nicely. And gonna stop again at the stop sign here. We'll call that a pass for the highway test. Finally, just gonna park it up before ending the video. Easy to do sharper turns at a slow speed as well. Now just gonna reverse it into that parking spot. Like so, and just put the parking brake on and turn off the engine. So there we are, all tests passed. I can now officially call the automobile sedan a normal functional car.